Hello Forkies, this is the 89 of me playing chess every day until I reach the epic training of 2500. So here we go. We have the game, we have the black pieces. We'll see what my opponent will do. I will try to play the Karakan defense with the black pieces as usual. Maybe my opponent will also board the game. No, but he plays pawn to e4. And now I will play my Karakan defense, of course, with pawn to c6. Next move will be pawn to d5, attacking white center here. And now d4, of course, taking some space in the center is the best by white and most common move. But my opponent plays pawn to c4, which is quite an unusual response to this variation. Now I still play d5. After pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes here, I don't recapture with the queen. I'm not sure what my opponent is thinking about. Of course, you take the pawn here. I don't take back, allowing knight c3. I can simply play knight f6. There is no way to defend this pawn, and I will pick it up my with my knight here. Excuse me, and I will simply develop my pieces as usual. It's not the most annoying position, but it's not the most joyful position ever. Um, I will develop my both knights. I will develop out the bishop, will castle. It will be a probably very equal game. But my opponent has created this weakness, which is called an IQP, isolated queen pawn. Now knight c3, of course, I can just take back, and if knight takes, queen takes, there is no knight to come to c3 anymore. Attacking my queen is not an option anymore, so my queen is very safe on d5, and it is a very active piece indeed. So now bishop b5 is an option. After bishop b5 check, I will probably play the move bishop d7 if knight takes, bishop takes on b5 with a probably very good position, knight c3 back, and then simply bishop b3. You cannot castle, I probably just win the game. So bishop b5, bishop d7, bishop takes, queen takes, of course. You play d4, which is I think the main line, and we can get into this position with a lot of different move orders. I think knight c3 here, but we need to be slightly careful about some checks on this diagonal with these two pieces, with the queen and the light square bishop from f1. So if I play knight c3, then there is bishop c4. I don't want to get into the hanging pawn structure, which would be if this pawn would go here. This is called a hanging pawn structure because there are no pawns to support it, and I have these two pawns to stop these two pawns. So kind of a theory here, but doesn't matter. So knight c6 I think is the most common move here. Queen b6. I mean, if queen b3, excuse me, there are a lot of options here. I will just play knight c6 here. Bishop b5. I'm not sure how I will react to that move. I think just maybe takes on c3. But you play knight f3. After knight f3, I think I'm fine with bishop g4. And we get into a very similar endgame that I know, but I'm not sure if it's the same one. Panobotwinic attack is when you take d4, c4. It's not the same endgame, no. Or is it? I don't think it's the same endgame as in Panobotwinic attack. After bishop g4, queen a5 or queen b3, I think is there the most natural move. Then takes here, queen b7 is not a move to play, but it is the same, isn't it? Let me think. If it's the same, then it's very good for me. If not, then I'm not sure. The Panobotwinic starts with e4, c6, d4, d5, ed5, cd5, c4, knight f6, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, bishop g4. Takes and takes. Yeah, it's the same endgame. It's the same endgame with bishop g4. I just realized that in an equal opening, or very the same opening, we get into the pretty same position after queen b3 here, pawn takes and knight b4. It's a very theoretical endgame. But that's great, of course. You play bishop e2. I was hoping to get queen b3 on the board, and I spent so much time, but now I can just play e6 and be very solid here. But in chess, you need to know if the lines retranspose or if they don't. Because if there is something that I would be missing, then maybe bishop g4 would just blunder the game on the spot. But now, of course, bishop e7 with an idea of bishop f6 pressuring the pawn here. Nothing special is happening. And I will show you this after the game. I will just make to sure that I write it down, and I will be showing you that endgame because it is a very important one. Probably the single most important endgame if you are playing the Karakan defense with the black pieces. Um, it's very equal, but I think black has a lot of chances there. Um, I mean the position is equal, all zeros all the way to the end, but there is something to play for. And here we get a isolated queen pawn position with h3. Of course, bishop h5 is the best move here. You cannot really allow to. If I'm correct, maybe bishop f5 is also an option. But I mean, knight h4 doesn't look really appealing to me. So I'll just play bishop h5. In a blitz the game, I would just blitz out this move. Is there anything I should be worried about? Takes, g4 there. I mean, this doesn't even make the position better after g4 and knight h4. You're just opening your king too much. Yes, my idea is to slowly build up a pressure on this pawn that cannot be defended by any other pawn. So that's really the idea of the opening I'm playing with the black pieces. And this variation we're playing in, it's called a pan of both winning attack. It's usually a very aggressive way to play. But no, you cannot play rook e1 is just a mistake. I mean, in the IQP there is often an idea to push with f4 and f5, so playing rook e1 doesn't seem logical to me. And I was studying some of these ideas in the IQP because I'm playing few openings with IQP with the white pieces, and 94 with 95 with f4 f5 is very common idea here. But no, now I can just castle. I will probably play like rook c8, queen b6, maybe pressuring the pawn from this side, rook d8, bishop f6, bishop g6. With these two wonderful bishops down the diagonals, I think I should be able to pressure my opponent on the clock and on the position. We both have 13 minutes left. There was nothing really going on in the opening, nothing special. I was calculating few lines, nothing major anymore. Now the question to be asked is will white take me? Because I won't take white. As you see, we're keeping the tension here for a very long time now. I mean, I played the move knight to d5 on the move. Where was it? On move 5, and it's move 11. So neither of us, excuse me, wants to really exchange these two knights, because I mean, if I take on c3, then pawn takes c3, and this pawn is suddenly very good. I mean, it's not the best pawn ever, it's not the most healthy pawn ever, but this pawn is also keeping my knight from moving to b4, and I think this is an improved version of white's position. And if white were to take me, I simply take back with the queen. I have moved my queen, I have developed it, I have connected my rooks, and my queen is perfectly fine on d5. There is no bishop c4, and even if there would be bishop, I just go back to d6 probably, or to d7, or even to a5 perhaps. My opponent is spending a lot of time here. He probably doesn't know the ideas of this opening. Maybe he does, maybe he's just choosing how to develop this bishop. Because if you play bishop e3 here, there is one very important nuance as well. By playing rook e1, yes, I just wanted to say that by playing rook e1, now this is very much weird to just give up the bishop and to get the f pawn to e3. F file opens up, but you have moved the rook to e file, yeah, so this doesn't make so much sense. And I'm of course not forced to take the bishop, but this I don't like to take the bishop here. The move I wanna play is bishop f6. Maybe it's not the best move ever. And after rook c1, for example, like a6, and if takes takes and bishop c4. Well, just queen d7, I think. Knight here, I can probably take either way. No, so maybe I go back somewhere else. Um, bishop f6, rook c1, rook c8, bishop takes bishop c4, queen queen d6, I guess. Going back like this with bishop on f6, and if a6 will be played, then there is no knight b5 maybe, but then there is knight e4. No, but there my calculations are bad. If knight takes queen takes, then there is of course no knight e4 and knight b5. What am I talking about? So just bishop b6, rook c1, rook c8, takes bishop c4, and queen d6 is the move I chose. Simply threatening to take the knight on f3 and then take the free pawn. Very intuitive stuff going on. Bishop f6, of course, the idea is to pressure the pawn here. Nothing less, nothing more. Takes rook c1. I guess I don't need to play rook c8 there. I could play rook d8, bishop c4, queen d6, and then I'm threatening to take the pawn here. Of course, I mean, there I'm not even threatening. Yeah, so rook c1. Yeah. Logical move, very logical move. Preparing bishop to c4. I could play knight b4 here. This is an option. After a3 here, probably pawn takes, then going back to d5, but then c4 here and takes looks very appealing to me. I would rather have white pieces there. So knight b4 after a6, I mean, what can I do rather than taking here? Probably nothing, yeah. So I play rook c8 here bishop c4. I'm giving him a tempo, but the bishop on c4 is not that great. Well, do I have bishop f3 there? Takes. I have. And trading the pieces into an endgame is always good. I'm not sure it's actually good. No, it's not, because simply g takes on f3. Why? There is no check. So no, I think just rook c8, I think. I played it, so a knight d5, queen d5, bishop c4, queen d6 looks very appealing. Also, queen d7 is not bad. I'm not sure what I would rather see on the board. I will have to decide between playing queen to d6 or queen to d7 here. Both moves look fine. Queen d6 just supports the e5 slightly more, and for that reasons I think I will do that. And there is no knight b5 if knight takes here, logical. I mean, bishop c4 right away gives me knight b4 attacking the bishop. If a3 I take, rook takes though, and I go back with very good position, wonderful position I would say. Then you are probably forced to take, and then if takes on c8 I take back. If rook c1 is impossible, you play g4. What? So I guess the idea is that I won't attack the knight on f3, so I mean this is forced. Yeah. I mean, does this end do any damage to my opponent's position? I wouldn't say so. So just bishop g6. Takes bishop c4 is my prediction, but then I get the bishop to this diagonal. Yeah? The knight on f3 is defended by the queen and by the bishop, but if it's moved to c4, then it's only defended by the queen. And I'm also slightly up on the clock, which is not important just yet. And of course I won't win the game on time. But when we chess players do get low on time, bad things start to happen. I'm just realizing that is perhaps g5. No, but just takes here. And takes here, and I'm winning. But even g5, bishop e7, there wouldn't be no harm in my position whatsoever. Bishop f1. This looks wrong. Um, why? Well, that's a good question. If queen d7, then g5 perhaps happens. I mean, so let me see. Queen d7, g5, is that really that dangerous? I go back to e7, to d6, to b8, queen there, and there is also a6 being very positional and slow here. There is also knight b4, a3, takes, and knight d5. I know that's an idea, but then c4 happens. Not that great. There is queen c7, but this happens. Queen d7 looks very logical to me. Um, after something like bishop d2, I mean this blunders a pawn, so this doesn't work. But an idea to get here and don't blunder a pawn. But queen d7, g5 here and then here might be good. Um, there is knight e3, pawn, maybe a rook e3, blunders a pawn though. So here is forced. Oh, maybe I play knight before a3. I take here and then go back here. And if e4, well, if e4, then knight takes, pawn takes, and queen a5 is a fork. I think just, and then I'm also, I mean, this is just an idea, but is it that good? It's a very major decision I need to take right now, so I will be quiet for some time. Knight e7, blunder g5, yeah, that's the important part. Well, there is also the move h6, and I really like this move. Giving my bishop a square if something happens and the knight gets to h4, which is impossible. But if yes, I like h6, not allowing g5, and then queen d7, rook d8. I think that's a very good positional decision because if the bishop would be on e7, I'm feeling kind of stuck after 95. So I have to take probably, and the position opens up for these two pieces. I just don't see it for me. And then also h4 starts to happen. h5, I mean h4 here, of course this happens. g5, I can of course just probably take here and then take here, slightly better than just taking. Bishop g4, queen d7. I have to blitz out the move, yeah. g5 I can still take there. g5, knight e3, pawn e3, and I win a pawn. I mean, there is no here because I take twice. I like my position a lot. Although I'm not the kind of guy I like playing or facing the IQP. I mean, facing the IQP, I get it. It's pretty great, especially if you get the two bishops like this. Your opponent is pushing pawns on the king side with zero good reasons. You should push with f4, but that's currently unavailable. Um, but yes, I'm just pressuring down the open lines or semi-open lines, as chess players like to call the semi-open files here. We are both down to 8 minutes or so, plus minus a minute. But yes, I have this permanent pressure on the weakness on the 4. My opponent simply is very passive here. I think my pieces are really good on these two long diagonals here. My bishop on g6 is just a very good piece. Not allowing rook to get doubled or not allowing queen to get active or something like that, and preventing the knight to get active. The knight usually wants to go to e4, so I would understand if bishop d2 or something like that will be played in the future. Of course, for now it blunders the pawn here. Although maybe it doesn't, because takes bishop on h6 is a nice tactic. I won't even try to calculate that because I don't care. Bishop d2, if it happens, then I will calculate that. Um, Probably I take with the knight first. Bishop h6, I take on c3, and then take on h6, and it should be fine. Although I lose a lot of pawns there. But bishop d2, of course, doesn't make much sense. And yes, I will just double up. Maybe lay knight before. Maybe I will take on e3. Maybe I will take here, play bishop e4 next. A lot of options here for black. And I simply don't see a move for white. Yes, I mean, playing a3, it's an okay prophylactic move. It doesn't really do much, yeah. Now blitzing out would be pretty great. Rook d8. I'm just improving my position, improving my pieces. And yes, maybe knight b6 next, with an idea to get to c4. Now that a3 was pushed, now b2 is much more weak, and if b pawn moves, then a3 becomes very weak. It's undefended by the b2 pawn anymore. So the knight gets to c4. I mean, maybe this knight from c6 getting there. Maybe this would be even better. I mean, 97 is also an option now that g5 doesn't trap the bishop. Why not? 97 then maybe. I mean, probably knight a5 allows some ridiculous tactics on this diagonal now. Oh, this is something I have, of course, completely blundered. Does it work though? Takes, and there is this bishop on this diagonal, which might not be that great, but I don't see very good moves for my opponent there, because I am going to play like bishop e4 in the response. Oh, but then takes and bishop h6 then. But then this pawn is hanging. Not great. I miss this. But do I really have something else? I mean, yes, I have knight b6 and then knight c4, but I also have knight e7, and then knight c3, bc3, and then knight d5, and then if c4, knight b6 perhaps. I'm worried about knight takes on d5. This move I think is just fine. No, but he plays queen to a4 with pressure on a6 here. I'm not really sure what this move actually does. There is no threat to the move itself. Oh, there might be a beautiful tactic, but it doesn't work. There is here, but the queen is defended. If queen takes, then knight takes on f3 is check, and then I take back. Now win a pawn, but if here, just here. Wait, but it might actually work. Wait, knight c3 firstly. Knight c3 first. Pawn is c3, and I sack the queen. I sack the knight, excuse me. And go here. The only problem here is rook takes. Here. I go here. Check, here, and my rook is hanging. No, but if rook takes, then the pawn is hanging, yeah? Here. Yeah, then I win. Also, that is here. Wait, no, but then the knight still defends here, so I will take here. I'm seeing some tactics today. That's pretty good. Knight takes on c3 with a very clear idea now. I mean, if this works, I'm pretty sure it does, but if it doesn't, then I'm still not lost. Rook c3, I take on d4. No, that doesn't even work. But no, it doesn't. Rook c3 wins. I mean, not rook. Rook c3. I mean, I don't have a tactic, I think, because if I take here, then queen takes. Knight f3. Here. I have here, though. Wait a second. I have here attacking the rook. If queen moves, I take here. And I have 2 pieces for the rook. Maybe I'm not seeing this one all the way to the end. But I think pawn takes will be played good. Ooh, you take with the rook actually. Bad. Very bad by me. So here, he calculated that this doesn't work. Of course it doesn't. Very bad. I mean, rook c7 prepares the the tactic once again, but after rook c1, I'm not certain. Rook c7 with an idea to double up on the c file, perhaps, and with an idea of knight takes on d4. And we're down to last 5 minutes. I blundered bishop f4, but I don't think it works. If I'm honest, I didn't see bishop f4 here. I should have seen it, but simply here, I think. Here and here. Perfectly fine for me. Because bishop takes there is a temp on the rook. So bishop f4 here. If rook here. Wait a second, what? Knight d4, queen here. I take. And I go here. Here is hanging, but rook c7 I take on a4. Maybe this is a bad move, but I don't think it is. And once you get hit with this kind of tactic, I don't think you can hold on. Bishop takes a take on a4, I don't care. I mean, queen d7. There is also just rook d7, rook c d7. But I will firstly take on f3 and then take back, and the rook is hanging on c3. That's the idea. Otherwise, b7 also would be falling. I'm not sure I will be able to win that endgame at all. It's a very complicated one. I have only won, a pawn here, which is not, I don't know what. I won't pre-move anything, because if, for example, knight here happens, if I pre-move knight takes on f3, even if my knight moves, my knight jumps on f3, so don't do that, folks. Oh, I'm also... Wait a second here. Wait, queen d7 I have here? No, but then king f1 happens. Here and here. But wait, that's not the end of the story yet. I take the rook. Rook takes, and what's the material? Now, very important decision. Do I go here? I'm not certain of that. Knight f3, bishop f3, rook d7. Rook c7 then. I mean, if knight e2 works somehow. Maybe check. King has to go here. Then I go check. You have to take back. Now I move the bishop. I'm threatening mate. That's simply knight e2. Yeah. No, I go b. Wait. Now I wanna play knight e2. It's a clear sacrifice. But I get the rook. Hmm. Is this good or not? Very hard decision to make now. Knight f3, bishop here, I go here. Rook c7, I'm not that happy with my position. Is it to win? Oh, b2 is also hanging there. But now I am happy with the position because b2 is... King f1 here, takes, check, here, takes, here. How do you gonna defend the mate? You will play rook back. And this probably doesn't work, so knight f3. Very hard position. I think knight f3 is the best move. I shouldn't have spent 2 minutes here. What is my problem? And of course this is check. Now I take back. I mean, everything is hanging in my position, but so is in my opponent's camp. So rook c7, I can go takes. Then if takes, then here. Not that great, but I have 4 on 3 on the king side here, so maybe a draw, but we'll see. My opponent is down to 2 minutes. This will be a blitz game from now on. And what's my opponent rating in blitz? I will just check it out very, very quickly. Wait, my opponent has joined 2 days ago. But this is unbelievable. Eh? Wait, his bullet rating is 1500. And he has played 44 games overall. Impressive. But why does chess.com pair me with some account that just joined the community? I mean, I know they have to play games as well, but come on, I'm fighting, I'm grinding on, and then they give me some weirdo. And he hasn't played a blitz game, so maybe. And now he's thinking for 1 minute, spending 50% of the time. Usually not a good idea. I mean, rook c8, I take on b2, I don't care. Oh, no, wait, what the takes, check, I go here, and then you take me here, but I take you here, I'm up to pawns. There is rook here. No, but then I takes on c1. I'm expecting the move rook takes on d7. If you don't play rook takes on d7, then you probably just lost. I mean, my bishops here are much, much better than these two bishops. They are having some targets, but my bishops are definitely very strong. Attacking the rooks, attacking everything. And even like here, then some... So do that. I will just do that. So now rook c8, yes, king h7. I take here as well, yeah, that's the problem. And b7 is protected. Okay, I get it. I'm probably gonna lose that pawn as well. Now I need to focus. But I'm also seeing a tactic, which is not... I mean, a tactic. There is the move rook d3. And if rook takes, I win the pawn, win the bishop. If here takes, I go here. But that's probably bad because of like bishop e3 or something. And my rook is trapped. That's probably bad. If I... Oh, I can just push. What is wrong with me? Come on, think, man. And then, oh my god, how did I miss that? I can just... Here. I still take it. B5, completely winning, I think. I mean, now my pawn is just... Yes, but what? I take the free bishop. Thank you very much for the game, and this is GG, resign. My opponent resigns. Of course it's lost. Let's see what has happened. Let's game review today's game. I think I played pretty fine. I missed some tactics with knight x d5, queen x d5, and then there are some attacks with the bishop from g2. So yes, I played with 91.5% accuracy. My opponent played with 84. Let's analyze the game now. So my opponent played pawn to e4. I played c6 and he played the weird move c4. Usually people play d4 here, of course taking some space, which is very logical, and after d5, e5, bishop f5, maybe h4, h5. This is just probably the most common position you get after the Caro-Kann nowadays. Now c4 was played with an idea to take everything on d5, and that has happened. d5 takes and takes here. Just one more thing I need to mention. If you're playing with the white pieces, here you should take firstly with the e-pawn, and then don't take here, play d4, and this is the standard Pano Botvinnik attack, which I will show you in a second. Now he took here, and he took here. Now taking here is pretty big inaccuracy after knight c3. Allowing this is pretty bad. It's still not that bad, but you should play knight f6, and you are completely equal here. Knight c3 takes d4 and knight to c6, and the position is roughly balanced here. Now knight f3, bishop g4 was played, and I thought we are going to get into a endgame that is known as the Pano Botvinnik endgame. Now queen b3 is the start of that endgame. After bishop takes on f3, g takes on f3, you have to play e6 here. I thought you have to take on b4, but this simply doesn't work because of bishop b5, queen d7, and takes here, and you are down a piece. But yes, so queen b3 takes on e6. If you take on b7, which is the best move, I take on d4 now. Now you shouldn't just play any random move. You should play bishop b5 check, and after take here you play queen d7, and after queen d7, king d7 takes and takes. This is the end game that is known as the Pano Botvinnik end game. Why? Well, we have only two pairs of rooks and a dark square bishop. But what's special about this endgame? Well, look at white pawn structure. It's not great. It has a double pawns on the f file, and it has a lonely pawn on h2. But I have this weird pawn on d5 and this isolated pawn on a7, and my king is still in the center. So after castle, the position is very equal. I should play bishop d5 here, and the position is just fairly balanced, and this should be a draw. But of course you shouldn't just make a draw here, you should play on. But this didn't happen. He played bishop e2 here. I played simply e6, of course theory move, and now black is better here. It's minus 0.3 here, which is not a small advantage for black pieces out of the opening in first 9 moves. Now I played bishop e7 here, which is still good, but the computer likes bishop b4 here. I'm not sure why. I didn't know this move, but I usually play bishop e7. Now h3, bishop h5, nothing special. Rook e1 and simply castles is very good for black as well. Bishop e3. Now I thought about taking the bishop, but why would I do that? This simply helps whites having more central space here. Of course, I get some counterplay like this, but I didn't like that as much as playing bishop f6, a positional move to pressure down the d file and to pressure the d4 pawn itself. Now rook c1 and rook c8, nothing special. G4 was very weird. I played bishop g6, of course. Bishop f1, another strange move. h6, not allowing any g5 ideas. Bishop g2, excuse me. Now I'm much better after knight takes e3, and now knight b4. e4, queen b6 simply, a3 and knight c6, I guess. Why is it so much better after e5, bishop e7? You can even push. Oh no. Oh. Maybe that's why. Knight a4, queen c7, and now you can push. Takes. Takes, rook d8. Queen b3, and the position is worse for white. I'm not sure why. I will analyze it definitely after this video. I played queen d7, which I thought was very logical. Now a3 was played. Now again taking here and playing then queen d6 with an idea to go here. Let me just put it on the board. I guess this is the idea, yeah. Or what can be the idea of playing queen d6? Probably knight here. No, the idea is to play queen b8 here. I mean, sorry, I have no idea what's happening. I played rook d8 here, which is fine, still better. Queen a4. I should have taken on e3, f3, and simply a6, and saying that I'm positionally better. I thought I saw a tactic here. After rook c3, I thought this worked, but it doesn't. After queen d7 here, my rook is hanging after take, so I thought about taking, oh, simply queen d8 or queen here. Oh, you can just sack the queen. Because if you don't sack the queen, if you move the queen here, like, let's say here, then it's okay for me to have this. But okay, I played rook c7, and now I can sacrifice. I mean, it's not a sacrifice. What am I even talking about? I can just play knight takes there and knight f3. If I were to play knight e2, which was something I have considered, I'm simply worse after. I thought about bishop d3. Rook d3 here. Really? Wait, but the position. Why would you give away the exchange? Why would you give away the exchange? Because if you go here, you are still fine. Yes, you are still fine. And I'm not even threatening mate anymore. Yes, I fortunately played knight on f3. And then I took here. Rook c7, I took on b2, takes, and rook c8, king h7. Bishop takes on a7 was played. And I played bishop takes on a3. And after rook b8, I simply played b5. And I thought I was much better here. I have 2 pawns extra, but it's only minus 0.9, minus 0.7, minus 0.8. Of course, he took the pawn and lost the game after rook takes on a7. But if he were to play bishop e3, I played b4. Why am I not winning? King g2. Here, I guess, to push. Bishop c5. I guess. Rook d3 with some pressure. Oh, wait. So, maybe I go here with an idea of here. But then I lose the pawn, and it's probably... This endgame is much easier to draw him. I mean, but he blundered, and I won the game anyway. Here, my opponent resigned. If you have anything to tell me, please let me know in the comments below. I will be reading and answering all of your comments. And as always, if you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really help me out. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.